What's up, it's Troy Roy, everybody. Organic Thoughts.
Alkebula na Georgie. They have Stone.
DJ Killer Tech, you already know. My name is Machi Provost, and I'm the host of Organic Thoughts.
Okay, then. It's the young nomad with no pads and no cash. Since day one and day one's in shit grass. But now I stay fly, can't sit on my ass. My headed towards nothing, just shit in my past. I'm off the rails and I'm living too fast. That's what my mama say.
Yo, welcome to episode 3 of Organic Thoughts. My name is Machi Provost. Oh, snap. We're on episode 4. My bad. Thank you, Martin. So, I'm a
huge fan.
I appreciate it, man. As you know, I'm your host, Machi Provost. And then we got Fritz, Troy back with us, Dave. And then for newcomers, we have Brandon and Martin Pope. And if y'all know Martin Pope, he's Timmy P's little brother.
Older brother.
Yeah, man. But, you know, we got something interesting for y'all today. And the topic of this content is called Navigating Through My Skin. Navigating Life Through My Skin, excuse me. And first off, the kind of like the biggest headline that's been in the media recently is blackface. So with blackface, what are y'all's thoughts and feelings about it?
I would say blackface, you do it to make money. I mean, look at Gucci. Like, they have blackface jackets, they have blackface hoodies. And yeah, you know, black people get outraged about it, but then 2 weeks later, guess who's back in that same store? So,
Yeah,
blackface makes money, man. So that's my opinion on it. I mean, it's good to be outraged about it, but if we're not going to actually actively do anything about, you know, let's boycott Gucci, but then you have like Mayweather and other people who are big, and you know, they're like, I don't care, I'm going to Gucci. Then there's no point for us to boycott because Mayweather's going to outspend all of us put together. So,
well, how come we give Mayweather the kind of clout to do that? Why do y'all think we give Mayweather the opportunity to say, like, you know what? I'm gonna keep buying Gucci. We know he has a shit boatload of money, right?
right, yeah.
But why do we keep thinking it's okay for him to just say, I'm gonna still buy Gucci. I'm still gonna buy Prada. I'm still gonna buy. What was this store that did the kid with the monkey?
H&M.
H&M. So I'm still gonna buy H&M because I have the finances to do it. Like, what is holding us back as a collective from saying that we're gonna boycott a specific brand in order to enrich our culture?
I think you answered that for yourself. As a collective, we are not a collective unit. And that's one of the greatest weapons against ourselves. We are just not collective. The moment something arises, we start to pick sides and then we start to bicker amongst each other. So I said, we're just not a collective unit.
Yeah. I would even say a lot of it comes down to, so there's a video on YouTube, you can Google this if you're watching, it's called How to Sell to the Negro. It's a video from 1963. So essentially it's like, essentially it's all about, okay, well, if you show them value in this material, in this product, they'll buy it because they're trying to impress, you know. I know, you know, the billionaire white guys are like, oh, I'm gonna wear shorts, t-shirts, I'm gonna drive a 95 Honda Civic. I don't care. I have my money. I have no one to impress. But then, you know, we as black people sometimes we try to one up each other. It's like, oh, I got those new Jordans and you don't. I'm better than you. You know, and that's just the mentality now. But the question is, how do you fix that mentality?
At what point in history though did we become like that?
No, but the thing about it is I mean, this video he was talking about came out in like 50s.
Yeah,
60s. They
50s.
already been knew this, bro. And it's like not a true thing. I watched the video before.
Yeah?
What?
Talking about self-esteem issues and stuff like that. So we have to wear expensive stuff to look better and feel good about ourselves.
But they would, because whether I would like it or not, we grow with an inferior complex.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they're using that inferior complex to make judgments on us.
Basically, what that video basically talk about, because I mean, basically the video said we are not that confident as we think we are.
But we can't be.
We are only confident because we have flashy stuff, and if you take away all the flashy stuff from us, we are nothing. That's how that video.
So they're saying if we don't wear this stuff, then we're devalued as a culture. We don't wear it.
The video is saying that's how we see each other within our community. That's
right now.
That's what creates competition.
Yeah, I'm trying to say so now. Basically, as a retailer, they use that marketing strategy to sell stuff.
Right, and I guess the phrase, keeping up with the Johnsons, the Johnsons, they got that new car. Now we gotta go get a new car. We ain't gonna let the Johnsons outdo us when it's not even.
That's true. That's true.
That's like something that's we can see is definitely like encouraged by like most industries and like black communities and stuff like that. They will like heighten, go get these cars, go get these clothes. Don't spend too much money on like getting properties or different like valuable stuff. Right. So it's mostly because like black folks, we're like, this is the flashy thing, but it's also a thing about like our culture as well. We're passionate. Where we can heighten everything. We get around something and it just like blows up. So that's just like something we naturally do. These industries though, they study us way back then. Is go like way back when it came to our lands and started taking people from that. Because they knew exactly like what was going on with the type of people, what type of like culture, rich culture they got. And it's not to say like black people here, Asian people here, white people down here. It's not that. It's just what it is. But like, fast forward to this point, we're at a part where we got Floyd Mayweather now like on a pedestal for like the entire black community now, talking about I don't care, I'm going Gucci either way. Now he's very influential. People are gonna look at that and be like, I like Gucci. I don't really necessarily care about the blackface, but like they brought it up. It's like, at what point did we even get here to like just let shit slide like that?
I feel like Tommy Hilfiger said something like this way back. He was like, he knew that black people was wearing his clothes.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
No, not at all.
He said that,
and then he said he never said that.
I don't know why.
He said he never said that.
He started losing money, and he's like, nah.
But he said that. But we still.
Same thing with Papa John's. I got friends. They took. You don't see Papa John's anywhere near that company, but I still got friends who eat there every day. So they're like, oh, he said the N-word. I don't care. His pizza's good as shit. You know. So.
Good. Mark, you about to say something?
I was gonna say I think blackface is like the visual version of nigger. You know what I'm saying? With the N-word, I'm not sure if y'all be.
Yeah, no, you good, man.
So like,
you curse.
It's I spoke to guys.
Let it out.
Curse counter. Organic motherfucking thoughts. But no, so like, but it's like I feel like it's a visual version of nigger. So it's like maybe Mayweather's trying to make it like, oh, they call us nigger, but we gonna turn it into nigga. You know what I'm saying? Oh. And it might be in just the same exact way like Kanye West is trying to do with the American Great Again hat. Oh, like he swears up and down it's like love and connectivity. It's like we're all one people, and it's like I guess your intentions may be okay, but at the end of the day you're not executing it properly.
It sounds like they're looking for a way to strip the power out of the item that's being branded.
But at the end of the day, especially with this Gucci thing, you giving them the money.
That's the biggest point.
You know what
That's the biggest
But what I'm saying too, are we gonna use that one instance and say, okay, Floyd Mayweather this and Floyd Mayweather that?
Well, no,
because Floyd Mayweather done a lot for the black community.
That's true. All right. So we can't get on this man and say like he's the epitome of our downfall, because he's not. It's as you said, or as we were talking about earlier. It's the collective's responsibility, and that comes from education. Like if we don't educate one another how to spend our money, how to save our money, and ultimately how to invest our money, then are we really helping each other? Are we really trying to drive a culture? Are we trying to drive an economy that can also benefit not only the black community, but it can benefit the Hispanic, it can benefit the Asian, just all the minority groups across the board. Like, let's try to figure out how to create an embrace upon people that is not singular. It has to be complex nowadays, because America's a melting pot. Whether we like it or not, we're in a melting pot, and we have to be able to learn how to accept one another's different cultures, religions, and views in order to survive and have discussions upon how we get further with our knowledge. You know?
So let me ask you this. I'm going to play devil's advocate. So do you feel like blackface is the same that it was back in the day? Obviously back in the day, blackface was racist, like just flat out. But today, especially with how other cultures, they appropriate so much from black culture. Like they love the rap music, they love the clothes, they love They love, they just love being black. And same thing with Halloween. If you go and you say, I want to be a Native American, and you put feathers in your hair, and that's racist too. Mm-hmm. But it's not, they're not trying to be racist. They like the costume, and they like Native American culture. So now, do you feel like blackface is as racist as it once was? I'm not saying it's not completely non-racist, but do you feel like it's looked at the same way now?
I feel like it carries the same energy. And the reason that it carries the same energy is because you have people in strong political seats, i.e. the governor of Virginia, right?
Florida too.
And I'm not sure what the second one was, but I think so. Florida. But this man is a person who, now he did blackface when he was in college, which was about 30 to 40 years ago, right? Now, that was a very racist, pretty much time. We're coming into now, racism has not changed, it's just evolved. It's more indiscreet now. So you could be talking to Joe Blow, and Joe Blow says, so you really think you can walk inside this building? He's not telling you, hey, you're a nigger, you can't walk in this building. He's saying, indirectly, you really think you're going to walk in there without a consequence, you know what I mean? So I think that blackface nowadays is, like yes, people want to be involved in our culture, but you can find that through different means. You can find that through how to speak with us through our language, right? Because if you think about the way that the black community speaks, for instance, I know you and I were talking about this the other day. Like, whenever I was growing up, right, I was considered the white black boy because I was smart and I spoke with full sentences, and I had friends in the black community that were like, yo, why are you speaking like that? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why can't you speak the same as us? And I'm just like, I'm looking at myself like, is there something wrong with me? Like, what am I doing wrong? But really, I'm just living up to what my parents were able to teach me. They were able to come through a generation of, well, first they were first generation college students. So I was able to have the home training and the etiquette as well as the language to go out and talk to people from Caucasian, African American, Asian, Indian, no matter what it was, I was going to try to hold a conversation with you, you know what I mean? But going back to blackface and the language on there, I still think it's an indiscreet type of racism that people might want to be able to embrace our culture, but they don't know how to because they're not willing to take the time to understand.
Real quick,
I got a question though. So I don't know how I can't associate blackface with black culture because I feel like from the get-go it was a degrading thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't see it as like I'm just not sure. I'm unclear. So like on that, how
I get what you're saying. Like, you don't see it as like it's not even like something that
I'm like it's not culturally because I don't do it.
It's culture.
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of like the white people calling Native Americans Indians. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're trying to make what they see of us real, and then they're saying this is how they are. I want to be like them. Blackface. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's not us at all.
That's not exactly because I ain't never. I mean, you ever did blackface before? I ain't trying to put some stuff in there. I got the melanin. I mean, you know, like it's. I don't know, right?
Nah, just the thing is, it was like constructed to like degrade black people. Anywhere I see somebody come up with blackface is a problem. Ignorance. I don't care what are your explanations, what you're trying to do, what Halloween costume you got. No, it's a no. And if you do it, people are gonna get on your ass. This is all it is about it.
Just like the word
nigga. Naga is like a word that many black people like throughout the world really that migrated places like you can go in like the Indus Valley, they call themselves like Nagas. So you like Latin America, they will refer to like dark skin as like Negro. So the end thing like Naga, Negro, all that is referring to like black, but you want to degrade it and put nigger in front of it to like teach like an entire population that the word nigger is like so degrading that in even like the black person's consciousness, he don't even remember what naga come from.
Yeah.
And what we refer about nagas.
And that's a good point right there too, because a lot of people, I mean, most of us in this room would know that, but a lot of people think nigga is just.
Thing is, and I've seen it similar to the blackface. I've seen it on Twitter where, like, this white lady put some charcoal on her face, and like they want us to act the same way. Is this racist too? Putting charcoal, so they try to degrade it to something like funny.
Oh, the charcoal blatant face mask thing?
Yeah, so they try to degrade it some form of way. So we started laughing, saying, "Oh no, it's not like that." Just a takeaway from the whole historic view of it, like it was degrading first of all. So don't come and put a charcoal face on and say, "Oh, is this?" Like we're not gonna laugh about it.
Because I seen it,
Yeah.
I see people laughing too. But what you just said though, like its original source, is even like.
It drifts so far from its original source, you don't even know what's going on.
But even like Machi, what you got on the point here? How are like black folks viewed in like intellectual spaces? So like from the get go, there was like lots of degrading messages and practices on black. Alright, not even black folks, but like minorities around, by like specific groups of people. It's not necessarily like every common white person. It's more so like those who knew a couple of things and who were in power decided to come down and be like, all right, we gonna like degrade this entire group of people, and then from here on out, they're gonna be known as stupid, ignorant, this da 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 da, and these are like the infrastructures that are gonna be set up to like enforce that.
And I think that all jogged from like the reason why white people are able to call black people ignorant and stupid is because they've dumbed down our generations for years. We weren't allowed to read, we weren't allowed to write, we weren't allowed to go to school, get an education. And then once that first generation crossed that threshold and they got into the school systems, then unequal funding, there's unequal pay, there's unequal grants for the research type deal. So
and the zoning system.
Yeah, the zoning system,
where
like
the zone go by taxes. So it's, okay, I say living in like a neighborhood that pay more taxes, the school's gonna be better because the school gets more funding than like a lower class neighborhood.
Yeah.
So schools in the hood that there's a lot of low taxes.
Yeah, because
no money.
Just think about it. If
how is that not systematic?
Yeah, that's
it is.
How is that like? How is that
systematic.
even? But they would debate it. They would even say, "No, that's not systematic." Of course.
So even another example. So back in the '60s, about 85 to 89% of black people were employed, and white people did not like that. So essentially, you'd have a white guy, he'd go for a job. The guy would be like, "Oh, I can do the job for $8 an hour," and then you have a black guy come, but "Oh, I can do the job for $6.50 an hour." So of course, the company's gonna hire the black guy because he's doing the same job, he's doing it better, and he's doing it for less money. White people didn't like that, so what do? Minimum wage. Now what happens is the white guy can't get paid. You can't pay the black guy less, cut less, pay the black guy, and pay the white guy. You have to pay them both the same now. So what's the company going to do? They're going to choose the white guy because it's like it doesn't matter now. So that if you think about looking at minimum wage even today, that's where minimum wage stems from. It stems from black people were more employed, more successful, and to combat that, they instituted a system to make sure that the playing field was even now. So
I just learned something new just now.
I'm not gonna lie.
Like I didn't even see it like that.
But it makes sense when you look at it. When you think about it, it doesn't make sense.
Of course, it makes
Because
sense.
even now, immigrants, like, they say we do the work, some of us will do it for a lower price. Because when you come from Jamaica or any other country, like, what y'all think is not a lot of money to us, that's good money, so we're going to jump on
exactly,
it.
like the whole South Park thing, like they took our jobs. It's like, well, first off, the jobs that you didn't want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that episode, man.
now it's interesting from Fritz and Dave's perspective because when y'all were in the Caribbean and Jamaica specifically, y'all didn't really see racism this blatant because more people they're trying to embrace, right?
Not even blatant. You just don't see racism unless you watch the TV.
Wow.
So let me ask
What you
that
might
question.
see is classism. That's
All right, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what I told Macha today. It wasn't racism, it's more like oppression. Like
Yeah.
system to the oldest down.
Yeah.
You know what you call it, right?
I feel that.
Simple classes.
Yeah.
You have a lighter color skin. They lighten you to okay, you're more fortunate than somebody with a darker color skin. So you're not going to be discriminated again, but you're looked down on. Yeah.
In a financial sense?
In jobs, or in society.
Internal.
I remember this one thing happened to me when I was in elementary school, as I would call it here. I was wondering why I had a light skinned friend and I was dark skinned. All the time, every time the females were playing, they play with him. I said, why? So I went home to my father and I asked him, why is he being played with that and I'm not being played with that? It confuses me. And my father said, well, it's because of the color of his skin. At the time, I never really understood what he said, but growing up, I said, whoa. No, I understand. At that tender age, you can imagine. And that has to come from being in society and things that are being taught to the kids. You hear parents might say, hey, try to talk to somebody with light skin.
Yeah.
You're much better in life. So it's being taught to the kids. So at that age, I'm seeing it, but I can't say, oh, I can't describe it and say for sure that this is what's happening.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but my father explained it to me, but I could not conceive it at that time.
I understand that. That's prominent here too, you know. But obviously that comes from slavery, of course.
You're right,
the
right,
white skin thing. So you know, everybody wants the light skinned dude or the light skinned girl. I got friends like that now. They're like, yo, I'll see a beautiful dark skinned girl. They're like, nah, man,
That shit
dark.
piss me off.
So and it's
you
not
know,
even
like,
see, and the part that gets me, like you said, is it's not that he said she's ugly. It's that he said that she's too dark, and that kills me. Like you don't understand how. Like, we would never throw fists because they're my best friends, but we've gotten very close on stuff like that. It's just like, when I was little, I was like that because I didn't know any better, but as I got older,
I ain't know better.
like, you know, and this is, and, you know, I used to, for a long time, simply because of, you know, black people, kind of like what Mantra saying, like, I was a nerdy black guy, so black people didn't want to deal with me, so I would just go for white girls. I would just talk to white people. I didn't ever really interact with black people because, you know, like Mantra, like every time when I'd work, they'd be like, why are you talking white? Why are you acting white? And it's like, no, that's just me. Like, I can't help that, you know? That's just my environment. That's where I came from.
And I
That
still,
is crazy.
I find it crazy, like you said, I find it crazy that your people will push you away
Right.
for being just
But you know
Not
that,
proper,
that
but
in
just being
Jamaica it's not
different.
like that though. Jamaica is a very nerdish society when you look at it, you know. Like
How
they
so?
praise education.
Okay.
If you're smart, everybody wants to wrap around you. Like, yeah, you are the thing.
See, people don't even want to open up books.
America is different.
Those are original like forms you would think as a society.
But in America,
white,
if you dumb,
black, Asian,
Right?
you know.
Right?
Like look at everything that gets media famous, right? It's like Instagram famous. Like if
Somebody
somebody,
degrading stuff and stupid shit.
yeah,
Exactly.
the most recent BS that I've seen, right, was the guy who, well, actually he's doing a probable cause with what he's doing, but
talking about boom, boom.
I don't know. The guy that he comes around with a belt and he's whooping people, right? Y'all don't see this guy?
I didn't see that.
This guy is coming around with a belt and he's whooping pedophiles. Like he's locking them in rooms. He's taking a belt off and he's literally like beating the hell out of them.
I
Right?
sent you that shit. I
Yes,
sent you that.
yeah. And so I find like he's doing a justice in a sense, right?
He feels
But
like
he feels, but he's also committing a crime. Like he's committing a physical assault on somebody. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have a badge and a gun.
Nah, they said
And
it
not even
was
say,
scripted, bro.
huh?
They said it was scripted.
They said it's scripted.
It was scripted, bro.
But it's still getting attention. It's still a must.
I was about to start a team.
Hey,
I was about to start a team.
You gotta come. They said it was scripted, bro.
You should
But the intention, though, the intention. I feel
The
you.
fact is, though, it's still getting a lot of views. Everybody's laughing
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
Everybody's saying, "Yo,
And it's stupid. That's true.
this is the type of stuff that I want to consume." It's not even content.
What's that? It's a little Chinese, little Oriental girl.
Lil
Oh,
yeah,
Lil
yeah.
Tay, right?
Oh,
I see
yeah.
something like that, or
I remember that.
and like you see,
The the bad Barbie chick. What's her name?
Yeah.
If I watch 2 or
Right.
3 seconds of that,
Right.
I feel like I'm going crazy. I cannot watch
same.
stuff like that, yo.
But the thing about it is, it's getting into entertainment too now. Like we seeing like, bro, like I don't even know these people's names, man. But you start seeing cats and they look like gay demons. I swear to God, like you
This
see.
guy said gay demon.
Listen, bro, like if I can find the footage, but bro, like you see cats with like have their head shaved off and it's like talking and stuff, like bro, it's scary.
So you
It
talking
is
about,
doing
for
it.
example, at the Oscars, there's a guy that wore the dress. Like
Yeah.
that's a big thing right now. Like, is it revolutionary or is it feminizing the black man?
Honestly,
You know.
Yeah,
feminizing
people
black.
that like
I don't see that's feminizing.
So
I think feminizing is basically
another fun fact is with slavery. We talked about how black people are inferior. Well, how do you tame an animal? You break it. It was the same thing that slave masters did to slaves.
yeah, that's true.
There's recorded facts of slave masters. They would literally have sex with the male slaves, like just right
in front of the
in front
entire.
of, they take the strongest black man and they put it in front of everybody else for dominance. It's just that's how you break it.
And then they
I
castrate.
heard in Jamaica, that's
Exactly.
why we so homophobic, because in Jamaica is one of the countries that really did that.
And that's where that homophobic black community comes from, is from slave masters doing that to slaves.
I've heard that too.
I saw that in the British Holocaust, that how they would rape the men, put sticks in them in the
Oh
sand.
yeah, that was crazy actually.
But what I'm saying, these are the conversations we need to be having, though.
Yeah.
Like, white people don't want to hear about this at all. They say, why are you bringing up the
What
past?
you want to know about Lil Tay and
Just wanna
stuff like
move on.
that?
Yeah.
People, like the thing,
And I guess, sorry to interrupt you,
No,
Mike,
you
but
good, you
my question is, so do you feel as a whole black people are confident and they're proud of being black? Everyone's like, say it loud, you're black and you're proud, but do you feel like, as our culture and even just around this campus, do you feel like people actually feel that way? They feel proud to be
I want to
black.
expand on that real quick. It's
I don't think
something
No,
that
man,
you
lack of
live.
knowledge.
It's something that you live. It's not a trend to go, oh yes, black proud, all that.
Exactly.
You embody that energy.
Exactly.
But
So
they're
if you-
making it a trend now, though.
They're making it a trend. So, and real like people that that are black or like that's with the energy gonna look at you like some phony shit. Like, what are you doing? Or at least like be like, listen, yo, like this is the direction you wanna like educate you a little bit. But the entire thing about like I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Well, I want to hit on like the view of our black people embracing themselves, right?
Yeah.
Worldwide, right? We move to places.
No, we don't want to go worldwide, because you know why?
No, but-
Well, why
the reason
not?
why, because in some other countries we do embrace it, but I'm talking about in America, like in Aiken, like this.
No. Even in
Worldwide, I think we
even
do.
in
'Cause
Africa,
in Jamaica,
no.
we love being.
Africa
You don't
don't
think-
even embrace
yeah.
it because they bleach their skin. They bleach their skin.
That's a good point.
Alright,
And
yeah,
there's a minute set of people bleach their skin,
Is
though.
it-
It's
yeah.
not like a lot.
But the thing is,
But
it's
the reason I said stick to America is because America is a big country with a lot of black people.
okay.
And I
But
don't
the
feel like
thing
we.
is, I feel that African Americans, they can't embrace their blackness without knowledge.
And they don't. And the school system don't give that knowledge.
The school system don't give you that knowledge, and the media
There you
don't praise
There you go.
your blackness.
That's
So
true.
without knowledge, like, you cannot embrace your blackness.
and also on top of that,
Yeah.
like parents are falling through the cracks too.
Of course.
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah.
like parenting, like we and education is very, very important, right? But I feel like parents need to set that foundation of go to school. This is why you're going to school, and also we talk about knowledge and knowledge of ourselves, but we need to talk about when I was a kid, when I was your age, this is what I was going through. When grandma was your age, she was picking cotton. When ma was your age, she was picking cotton, but she'd also sell peaches on the side, and that's how we got this. I don't know. She has this big old house over here.
And
you know what I'm saying? This
kind
land.
of backpacking off of your video, that's the same concept where I talked to my dad like, oh yeah, well your granddaddy's fixed TVs. He used to make me come out here and fix a car and do this and do that. And I'm like, Dad, like it's not that I don't want to learn that stuff. It's you just don't want to teach me. It's like I'd rather learn how to fix a car. I'd rather learn how to mow the lawn when I was little. It's like I want to learn that stuff. I want to learn how to grill. I mean, I know that's small in the grand scheme of things, but essentially I want to learn. But you're not passing that knowledge on that. Someone passed on to you.
Yeah, and that's what when you was talking about your story about how you talking about how the girls want to hang out with the light skin, and you said you went straight to your dad and talked about that. There's a lot of people in America that can't even talk to their dads about stuff like that.
Don't even have a dad.
They don't even have dads. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so if we have this foundation of parenting, of teaching what you know and what grandma and them knows and what our community, what our village knows. It takes a village to raise a child. As soon as if we have that instilled in our children, by the time they step foot into school, they ain't gonna be worried about all that extra stuff. You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's gonna, and they're gonna start asking. I know you said you were gonna ask me a question, but you got me thinking. Like they're gonna start asking questions. Like, hold on a sec. Wait, okay. If Christopher Columbus discovered America,
who was already here?
Why were people already here?
Now the kids are pissed off because now we got a whole bunch of information floating around, and you're reading this stuff about your own people, and then how they're degraded now, and now you're pissed off.
Exactly.
Now it's like,
exactly.
That's why this generation, especially, very important for the longevity of the knowledge of black self, brother. This generation, because we have to pass it on because we definitely at the bridge.
Yeah, right bridge.
Americans just basically come out. Will not come out there on the verge of getting better at mass incarceration. We start to see laws being passed because that was definitely systematic.
Yeah,
mass incarceration.
I mean, it started from Bill Clinton. Remember that?
Well, it started with Reagan.
Was it Reagan?
It started Reagan. So
no, man, it started from 1865.
No,
so
man,
it started
Let's break down the history real quick, all right? So Nixon started the War on Drug campaign slogan, right?
But before that,
the mother Indian mustn't cut.
But you ever say it's systematic though?
Yeah, all right, you're right.
All right, pause.
It's a thin line.
Wait, it's important to like point out where we're at and how we got here.
Okay, so obviously David is saying that he started from like way back 18.
Hold on. So
From 1865.
both the cameras are dead.
Y'all niggas amazing. That's the first thing
I think we still got live.
Secondly, it's gonna be fun. We can just post a clip.
But the thing is, like,
the audio.
yo, we came out of like a very, touchy situation with the black folks, what happened in the Caribbean, what happened in Africa, who came there, what they did, slavery and all that. We just came out of like a very, and it's still like ongoing now today, but it's important to realize that how that came about, where it came about, and how today, like how we are the bridge. And some of our parents too, a couple of generations are still like maintaining, some firm grounds with like some knowledge on how to move forward. Us now, how to like, even connect this bridge and,
we definitely need to portray that. We need to make a map and portray that. Because the brain is an associating organism, so it works better with images and can associate things. We need to have a map for sure. If it's even like our friends, not going to our offsprings yet, to show that, hey, we definitely are the bridge, That could be used as motivation.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't see it like that.
Yeah, they don't see it like that. But we know exactly that we are the bridge, but we have to show that we are the bridge and map.
Yeah, that's that showing.
Because even the question, even the first question why y'all asked if y'all feel like black people is confident or confident in their skin and whatnot, the way we actions show that we're not confident at all. Because if we were confident, we would have automatically know that we are the bridge. Because you don't have to look far to realize, generation are doing that, saying dog, and a lot of stuff are changing. So right now, one of stuff that thing I don't know.
I don't know why you switching languages.
I think a lot of times.
Man, switch your whole language.
Yeah, I think a lot of times with black people being confident is we get drunk. We get times where like we get one good night where we feel good. For example, when Black Panther came out, top grossing movie of all time, it's won awards, black people felt good. I've never seen so much African garb in one location in my entire life.
Exactly. Why that can't be every
happened?
day?
Yeah, what happened to that?
And, all right, white people, believe it or not, they got their flags, the Confederate flag. Them big trucks that go hunting.
Symbolism.
Bruh, that's culture. That's symbolism right there. Hunting, baseball, all them little stuff. That's what.
I mean,
What we
we have culture, we have music, we have art.
They take over.
We have
we
what I say African American thing, brother. This
Look,
American
if we have
football
music,
thing,
if we
brother.
keep
Too
talking-
much of the kids them aspire for basketballers and American footballers.
Exactly. You know why?
Like,
Because we don't
why?
control those on the industry no more. Those are me saying I want to grow up to be a basketball player. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm basically saying that I want to grow up to get in a system controlled by the white man, and be a puppet. That's how I see it.
Well, nah, you're not necessarily saying that. Kids can be kids and just want to play that game, bro.
And that's I understand too. But with education, some of these athletes, at first you're not gonna realize that, but when you get to the point where you're 25, 20, you should know. Okay, I'm in the system right now. You have a platform and you have the money to do stuff to make changes. How much of them is actually making changes? How much basketball player you can count that's actually trying to do stuff?
There are people in today, we can't keep looking at this now time and saying that shit has not changed, because things have been progressive over the years. There is no way you would be sitting here right now unless your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-great-grandmother made strides in order for you and I and all of us to sit at the same table and eat from the same spoon that a white man eats.
So we should be satisfied with where we are?
No, we're not satisfied.
I'm
But
not saying we're not making strides. What I'm trying to say
is LeBron is an active person right now creating schools.
LeBron, but
we
how many-
have Damian Lillard, who is an active person in the
Keep
community.
counting.
We got people in Kaepernick. Shit.
Okay,
No,
I
no,
understand, but how many are in all sports in America that's popular? There's a lot of black athletes, and some of them just literally ignore everything that's going on.
Now everybody is not using their platform.
That's what I'm trying to-
Everybody's not using their platform.
And right now, that's
in
what we
order to
need, because
promote.
we need that, because right now we have no Listen, white people own NBC. They own, even those black media that y'all think it's black media beats and all that.
We don't
White
have
people
it.
own those.
We
So
don't
we have
have
nothing
it.
basically. So basically, the only thing we have is a
now.
mouth. Is these athletes. These are only OPF, Kanye West.
I get what
stuff
you're
like that.
saying.
That's what I'm
I
trying
get
to
what
say.
you're saying exactly. It's an ongoing process, and we need to do this shit now.
It's now.
However,
This is
though,
bridge-
there are
the
many
bridge bottom.
many folks just sitting back with their money, relaxing, living the life. We don't want to. We support black and all, but we just want to chill. So everybody is not going to be on the same motives. But as a collective, though, that's at least the spirit we want to
And I get what you're trying to
vibe
say.
with.
Well, we all
Oh, yeah, we're
understand
not
it.
ignorant, yeah.
So where do we come to the point to say we're gonna begin change now? Where does the beginning come from? Does it come from the people? Does it come from the White House? Because we had a black
We can't
president,
depend on that.
but the black
It's
president
the White House.
didn't have.
Made it
I mean,
worse.
yeah, true.
Made it worse.
Well, the one thing that I was listening
We're a target now.
to Umar Johnson, right, Dr. Umar Johnson, and he brought up a point that you can't really refute is that there was a black man in office and there were no laws passed that benefited black people. There were laws passed that benefited LGBTQ,
That's true.
and nothing against that community, you know what I mean, but
But that's only what they allowed us
It's
to
not
do,
nothing
though.
against, but you have to look out for your community at the end of the day.
No, but he
for
tried-
for your community.
If you understand how government work, was made. The American government is one government that I know for a fact was literally built on a way where it's hard to make changes. So 4 years or 8 years, 10 years, 20 years, just
And
can't
that's
have no
kind
change.
of the issue of
Because
politics too.
it was purposely built like that.
It's like China.
Because
something
even
like that.
even
You know what I'm saying?
even though there's a lot of articles coming out now because a lot of black people going conservative because the whole liberal thing is a lie. I think it was Umar Johnson that mentioned that as well. Where it's the black movement with Black Lives Matter that got hijacked so fast. You have white allies, but they pushed that up and then they hijacked it. So the women's movement was like, oh, we want this piece. Then the LGBT movement was like, oh, we want this piece. No one talks about Black Lives Matter anymore.
yeah.
It got its attention, and then the people that were pushing it, they kind of diverted the attention to what they really wanted.
True.
That's my opinion. But
And that's what I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday. I was saying that, like Machi was saying, how do we fix the issue? And Machi brought up, okay, coming together as a group. I was like, I'm against that because like just like Black Lives Matter, you have one person that say, okay, we're gonna come together as a group, but as soon as that person get the attention he needs and the power he needs, you forget the cause, and that's what I've seen so much.
Even say get the attention and power, fear involved too.
On that too.
Because it technologies and the forces what white people use to dismantle these groups, it drives serious fear in the
It
leaders.
does, and that's why it starts from us, from individually. Like one, cause I feel like if everybody just work on themselves, we're gonna come together regardless.
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna happen. We're
At
not
the
gonna
end of the
see
day,
it.
whatever we see out here, it comes from inside. But guys, I'm about to dip though. I'm gonna let y'all one important thing, like Dave said though, like we really are a bridge, and it's about like embodying that thing and really like living it. So you can't just like go on social media as like, yeah, black, you gotta live that shit, bro.
And just before you go, so Killer Mike actually made a good point in Breakfast Club where he was saying, you know, if you go to New York, you know, the Italian people they keep their kids and their culture to their old.
Yeah.
The Jewish people keep their kids and their culture to their old. The Chinese people keep their kids and their culture to their old. But black people, we don't keep it. Like there's so many other forces as a black person that hit us. So we don't know our culture when we get in high school. We don't know who we are because we don't know our culture.
The mass cultures them around us, them are try to keep us as consumers in a society. You know?
Exactly.
So we are fighting a very difficult task, you know, brother.
God.
Just think about if the billions of dollars that black people spend, we take that and we put that into business. We put it in the bank.
Well, much
We
we don't have that much money that you think we have as a
We
culture.
spend billions.
Who spend billions?
We
spend
spent
billions?
Collectively, black
17.
people.
This is
No,
an
I
approximation.
seen
We
that
spent
stat, yeah.
$17 billion annually last year.
Okay.
So with that amount of force, there is bound for us to be able to start something.
Well,
we can
also,
start some type
But
of
also, it comes down to
black town in
education.
Chinatown.
Alright, it starts from education where first you say, okay, education for us was always low. So our parents, like I could say my parents, like, okay, I feel like they had plenty of opportunities to do good stuff, but they just didn't have the education to
Facts.
do those stuff. But that's why they sent me to school. So like I learned stuff now where like if I get a certain amount of money, I know
the school, but another school teacher what you know.
but they think
the intention.
they got the right intention though.
Right
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? They
Yeah.
think exactly. So I'm trying to say so we can't knock. So I understand. Yeah, we spend a lot of money as a group of people. Like most of that money spent is your parents spending.
I put it.
You get what I'm trying to say though?
I put it this way, right? Forget putting it into banks, right?
Okay.
Forget putting it into new businesses that are straight off the ground. Why don't we take some of this money and we invest it into things like Flint, Michigan? Why don't we take this money and we invest it in things like HBCUs?
We got
Like,
Yeah, bro, Machi, I get what you're
No,
saying. It's like
definitely
if
needs an
you get like a whole bunch of meat, right, and you running with the whole meat, and you got your brother right there is like, yo, you gonna give me some meat? You got all this meat for you. Obviously, you're gonna get half to that, and you're gonna keep going. But the idea is to like, with the money situation, yeah, you put money back in like the black businesses, not necessarily like going back to Gucci, but finding like somebody that's like dope. I don't know, like Dapper Dan, that guy. If he had his own like cluster as like designer, you put it in there. He designed better. He does a thing better. So put the money there to like where, you know, consciously, psychologically, it's like an automatic of like rebuild. You know, it's
but
like
that's
a
what it would
pyramid
be
thing.
if we put it into HBCU education. Those are centered around. HBCU stands for historically black colleges and universities. For anybody that doesn't know. So if we put the money to get the research done, some of the research that is done at PWIs like Harvard, Yale, MIT. Black people have the same capability if they got the same amount of funding and technology put into their HBCUs.
And part of that issue too is, so when I was a senior and I was looking at colleges, got a letter from USC, got a letter from Clemson, got a letter from Aiken. I didn't get a letter from Clark Atlanta. I didn't get a letter from Brown. Like, do HBCUs actually try to reach out to black people, or is it just they just go by the
funding?
name?
Because that reaching out costs funding too.
So
it's
for
like a
example,
battle.
like so South Carolina State HBCU.
It's a
So
battle.
they have an issue of funding, and one of the things the state offered them was like, hey, so we'll give you money, but you got to lose your status. So instead of them being South Carolina State, they'd be the University of South Carolina in Orangeburg. Obviously, they rejected it, but that funding is just crucial, man. Like you do gotta have it.
Yeah,
And
because HBCUs have like black remember black white people, more white people start go HBCUs now because of funding.
Oh yeah.
That minority scholarship.
Yeah, hell yeah. The craziest thing is, like, and I know people are gonna jive on us because we're all going to a PWI, a publicly white institution, but like,
Oh man, tell him.
my whole thing is like, we as a people, like this is everybody across the board. We make decisions in order to help our own finances. Or protect our own finances. So if I had to choose between going to USC Aiken for $10,000 versus going to North Carolina Central University for $25,000, what do you think makes more sense to me?
Yeah.
Like now, if we had education system, a universal education system, then we wouldn't have the problems with is paying for this educational problem. We now have, well, do we have the right people teaching the right curriculum now? Like that's where I think we need to start driving is who are the educators?
Brother, that's
How are they
we
educating?
don't underestimate the fact that we are the bridge in a match. We cannot
I
underestimate
agree.
that, brother,
I agree.
because we are going to be the next set of teachers. And we have to apply pressure upon just all of us. We have to keep
Alright,
each other
brothers.
accountable,
Hey,
brother,
sisters.
hold each other accountable.
Sister,
and, you know,
one sister. Alright, see y'all.
understand, say, hey, we owe this to the culture going forward. You know? We are the bridge. We are the bridge. Very important, brother.
Just simple about how you
God.
raise our children and stuff like that. You start from there. Because like I
Just
said,
like that.
our parents, believe it or not, they didn't have the tools and the stuff like that to get, or not all of us, but some of our parents didn't have tools and all that to get education and to know what we know now. But we have that, so now we have the chance to raise our children how we think we should have been raised.
And I think the biggest outlet for the reasoning behind education, like at a wide scale, is social media. Like people, that platform right there puts the power back into the people's hands ultimately.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to rely on NBC to let them know that somebody shot up a church down in Charleston, South Carolina. Now it's public. The cop cannot hide anymore because everybody's taking their phone out to show them that police brutality is real. Hence to why Kaepernick knelt on the field. For people who don't think that is why he was kneeling, it's not the fact that he's against the military or that he's against police overall. He's against the injustice that this governmental system has allowed throughout all of these years. So moving forward, and I understand that we're the bridge now, what are the 3 different areas that we can immediately improve?
So just to kind of build on that as well real quick. So from my understanding too is that Kaepernick had some veteran friends and he talked to him. He's like, what's the most respectful way that I can do
Yes.
that? And he was told to kneel. People think that he's doing that, you know, to be disrespectful to the military, when in fact, he went to the military and be like, what's the best way for me
His
to
whole
do it?
campaign is military funded.
Right. And then so going on to my next point is, which this isn't, and I'm not saying this to drag, but as far as power, especially dealing with the black family, do we feel like we should push for black people to stay married to black people, or
That's
do you
a
feel-
great-
or is interracial, is that's just the way it is now?
That's a great question. And I'm a person who is in an interracial relationship, right? So I have a scope view to say love is love. Like, I don't care if you're Peruvian, I don't care if you're Chinese. If I have a liking to you and I love you genuinely, then I want to have a future with you. But I understand if somebody would rather say, well, I want to invest my time and my energy into a black woman. Like, if coming from a black male's perspective,
Right.
or a black woman's perspective, that she wants to invest her time and energy into a black man.
Right.
Like, that's ultimately, love is your choice. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't believe personally that there is anything that is degrading to people who have interracial relations, because some people view that as killing the bloodline. Like,
I've heard that.
yeah.
And kind of, so 3 points on that. So first point is, of course, you know, another issue with that is, you know, Childish Gambino made "This Is America,"
Yeah.
but then people find out he's dating a white woman. They're like, oh well, all the thing you said, you know, it's just down the drain because you're getting a white woman.
I don't see, cause
And then
I agree with what Machi said too.
And then so my second point is, as you said, Dr. Umar mentioned that
Yeah.
no one knows the struggle more of a black man than a black woman. So why would you want to be with a white woman or a Chinese woman who doesn't understand your struggle? And I guess my third point to that is, which I kind of lost it for a second. So I guess my third point to that essentially would be saying like, for me, I understand because see, as like I said, going back to me being as a black nerd, black girls didn't want nothing to do with me, you know. And kind of like we talked about earlier, it's like, you know, I'm not the thug with the 8-inch penis and the PhD. Like
Exactly.
that's just not me. Yeah. So you know, like I said, I can work for one and buy the other two, but that takes time.
Exactly.
But so and I get but yeah. So and I guess it's kind of like how. Do you feel like someone is less down with the culture by interracial dating, or is it just really if you love that person, that's
it's
just
preference? Yeah.
I feel like I'm
the individual
Preference, exactly. Preference. I'm not gonna knock a man because of a white woman. I'm not gonna say your information is not credible because you're a black activist and you didn't know what that. I don't see that's not affect. I don't. That's not affecting the information.
The whole thing is, if you're in an interracial relationship, are you still trying to educate and help your people out?
Yes.
Like if you're not throwing your people under the bus and saying that you're a bunch of criminals who need to be locked up, like that's an ill-minded mentality for me to have against somebody that looks like me. You know what I mean? So I don't believe that you need to be in a same race marriage. I believe love is love. So that's my ending point on it. But for the people who want to, you know, embrace the black woman or embrace the black male, by all means, do what makes you happy. Like what we're trying to promote is consciousness or happy consciousness. The fact that you can walk outside and even if somebody spits on the ground right next to you, you can say, well, my day is still going to be great. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to let your energy affect my energy. You know what I mean? Because after that, then things start to go downhill. Once you start going to a negative terminal, what do you get? Negative. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, no, I completely understand. Like I said, I was kind of bringing that more of a talking point because I agree with you. You know, like I guess one thing for me too when I was younger though, I was kind of, I'm not gonna say brainwashed, but I was kind of taught that, you know, you've seen those experiences where like that the black kid picked the black doll and the white doll.
Oh yeah,
They picked the white doll. I was like, why? Because that's prettier.
Yeah.
I would say for me, honestly, looking back, it was more of a self-confidence thing, and you know, white women accepted me more than black women. That doesn't mean I hated black women, but you know.
And that's true too, because I've heard a lot of black guys say the same thing right here, that they feel like black women, the girls that they want, like the sexually pretty bad girls or whatever they call them, don't want them because they're not a gangster. So, but an average beautiful white woman will accept them more than the black woman. So that's why they. I've heard that too.
Alright, me see that daily over my tear, like a black person said, yo, the pretty black girl that you know. Then them say a white girl. No, that's a pretty girl. That's like why you have to specifically say that's a pretty black girl. See that always gets me too.
I might have been guilty. I don't know if I've said it.
No, me say it already.
That's a mattress.
I know I've said it already.
I'm sure I probably said that too one time. That's
I catch me say me. I say why I've never say oh that's a pretty white girl. Oh that's a pretty girl there, or a pretty Caucasian whatever. But when it's a black, I say no. I said a black girl is nice.
That's true.
And then that's one thing that I was kind of mentioning that I hate. It's like it's not because I have friends who be like, oh man, like I don't like her not because she's not beautiful or because she doesn't have a good person. I don't like her because her skin's too dark. It's like why? Like that? Like how do you just? It drives me crazy, man.
Yeah.
It really drives me crazy.
The thing about it is, it's like so ever since. So I was in history class and they was talking about like England, right, or the British and how they would go and colonize different places and things like that, right? And the most important thing that they would, I guess, infiltrate is education, right? So how they start speaking about, how they start teaching us from as kids, in 1892.
Columbus sold the
Columbus sold the ocean blue.
yeah, the ocean blue, because it's like they're starting to feed us
Their history.
They're starting to feed us the history that they want us to remember.
Yeah.
And it's not even their history, you know what I'm saying? It's history that they want us to remember. So like they're instilling in us their lies. Okay? And that's why we think that the Caucasian woman is the most beautiful, is more beautiful.
Important to say that too, you know.
You know what I'm
Even
saying?
on the basis of religion, brother. It's their life they don't hide.
Exactly.
While they leave it and say, okay.
Yeah, I mean, all they do is they shove it on us, then they was like, we're gonna let them.
Right. Even in the new textbooks, if you look at like Egypt and things like that, like all those Egyptians are closer to white than they are to black now. So
And the thing about it is, so I'm just gonna like try to like say this one thing, okay? Blackface. I said blackface is kind of like the visual version of the N word, right?
Yeah.
So there's another word. There's a word that we can call. You know how like we call white people, you know, crackers or honky or something like that. And you know, like if I'm walking down the street, somebody calls me nigger and I say cracker, who's gonna walk away feeling the worst? Me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because nigger is a hard hitting word, right? The thing about it is, well, if you allow it to be, but most likely in that situation, in a general situation,
Yeah, you're right.
you know,
I get context.
the word that we can call white people to make them feel as bad as the way as when they call us nigger, is crazy as shit. No, I mean, like, I'm not black, nigga, I'm white. Like, no, the word is liar. Because at the end of the fucking day, all the shit that they fed us through history has all been lies, and it's been lies because they have their what's it called? They have this
agenda.
They have this like this authority, I guess. And it's because
history is written by the victor.
exactly. So like they have this authority, and since they have this authority, this is right, this is wrong. Like, okay, I guess this is right, this is wrong. This is pretty, this is ugly. Okay, this is pretty, this is not. This is smart, this is not. You get what I'm saying?
They set a lot of standards.
And the craziest shit is, I swear to you, if you go, when was the last time you went to a white person, you called them a liar, and you didn't hear this? You called me a liar? That's the main. I'm telling you, bro. Like if you take their credibility away, they have nothing. They have nothing. Ted Bundy, the guy on Netflix who killed all those people, right? Yeah. It's because he had an honest-looking face that he kind of got away from with it and everything. It was easy for people to believe him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fire. I forgot the dude that did Fire with Ja Rule, but like,
oh, that white guy. I just watched that thing.
The white guy, like I'm telling you, if you sit down and you watch it, like it's all on credibility.
That's
I
true.
got these people, I got these people, I got these people, I got these celebrities. Credibility.
Nah,
If you
that's
tear
true.
that shit down, I swear to God, if you go up into a history class and you be like Christopher Columbus, and you ask that question, I could have sworn there was already people over here. You call me a liar? And it's like, bro, like.
Yeah,
It's the truth.
So like, no, that's a good point. Even with the whole Kavanaugh situation, like that's why that got the way it was, because people were calling out lies, and then they're like, "What? Calling me a lie?" Obviously, Trump kind of helped push that still, but you know, I understand. I mean, I completely agree with you. I know we've kind of talked about this before. I completely 100% agree.
Like you call, and like you don't even have to be belligerent about it. Be like, you be lying. Nah, you just be lying, man. I'm like, no, man, I'm not lying. And then like you and you know it gets heated when somebody else steps in and is like, whoa, guy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Y'all try that shit, man. Like
That's honestly a good ending point to go on, because I've never even thought to even try to strip away the credibility. I've always tried to challenge it. You know what I mean? And when you try to fight fire with fire,
you giving them power.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's true.
So that is honestly a great point, Martin.
Oh yeah, you and your ancestors, y'all are liars. You were no different.
I'm not you're lying.
I was just so I'm gonna take the time now, or actually I'll let y'all take the time. For Brandon and Martin, y'all can talk about some of the things that y'all do. Well, for Brandon on campus, and Martin with your filming and your YouTube.
Okay. Well,
I'd like to talk about Brandon for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So Brandon, yesterday he today he's in the Aiken Standard.
That's what's up.
Front page.
Hey, Black empowerment. There we go.
That's what we need.
So we got a blessing box, in which if y'all know what a blessing box is, it's just a box where there's food, there's like utilities, things that you might need.
As soon as you come into USC Aiken, right?
Yeah, right there between the pool and the maintenance building.
Got you.
Yeah. So it's whatever you need. If you need food or tampons or whatever you can put in there. So and the motto is, take what you need, leave what you can.
Yeah.
So anybody just put anything in there?
Anybody can put anything in there if you know. I was thinking condoms. I think that would be a great lifesaver.
Even though the health center does get those, but like Martin said, there could be times at night where you need a blessing, so you
So
go.
there's a blessing box here.
There's a blessing box right around the corner.
Right in front of
It just put up around
soccer.
Yeah. It was put up yesterday.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, so essentially what happened is, I was the first Rotary Club member for the USA Aiken Business Department, and then I went and I talked about, food insecurity, because personally I've experienced food insecurity myself, working a full-time job, being able to pay all those bills, and you try to go back to school, and it's like, oh, well, I want you still to do that, but on the 4th of the paycheck now.
Okay.
And, food insecurity happens, so I was like, I managed to have a system of friends and family to where I got out of it, but some people don't have that luxury. Even a lot of the international students, who live on or off campus, because most of it's off campus, not on campus, because you have to buy a meal plan. So essentially, I was like, well, we need to do something about it. So I talked to Rotary Club about it, and then Rotary Club got a bunch of people together, and they got the money. So Jane Thomas Rotary Club was like, this is because of you. You're the one. You were one person that made the difference. You made us get all these people together, and now we have the blessing box because of you. So
that's really powerful, bringing the community together.
Yeah, and like I always say, like they made me take pictures and do all that, which is fine. And they gotta show you. Right. I take pictures with the chance and everything. And I'm not a spotlight person, but my motto's always been, I want to leave it better than I found it. That's always what I try to do. Even granted, if I could. With the black community, it's the same concept. If I could, I would leave it better than I found it. So that's always been my motto. So.
But we are trash. When the sea good, we are trash.
Well, you also started the eSports Club here at USC Aiken too. Could you go in how you go into detail how you got that?
So essentially, which I'm gonna tell you guys. I know it's on the podcast. I shouldn't say some of this stuff. I'm about to tell you. But so essentially, how it happened is the Chancellor is very big into gaming, like super big. Like her son plays Fortnite, and she wants to now use esports as a mean of getting more people on campus.
Okay.
So as you may or may not know, we're actually getting a gaming center on campus. It's going to be 26 high-end gaming computers that can be used by any students on campus for video gaming exclusively. So it's going to be underneath. It's going to be underneath the commons. Yeah. That's going to essentially the Chancellor is going to make that bottom floor all for gamers. Like if you're a gamer on campus, that's your floor essentially. And being with that, we're the first NCAA division in the whole United States to have esports as a sport, actual sport.
Boy.
Yeah, Peach Belt's the first conference in the nation that we had a 12-page spread in NCAA magazine just about esports. So the rest of the nation is looking at us and how we run our esports program. So I kind of
people that compete in sports here.
Right. So essentially, what's gonna happen is in the next year or two, we're actually gonna start offering scholarships for video gaming, like professional video
scholarship.
Money.
The first I heard about scholarship was like last semester, and I said, really, people get scholarships for gaming?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a big business.
Heard about it.
Because at the end of the day, it brings in. Because normally gamers are normally very smart. So they play the game, but they bring in a lot.
Right. A lot of those people who don't follow traditional sports follow video game, and that's their sport. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. You have teams, you have seasons, you have playoffs, you have trades, you have the drama. It's the same thing. It's just all.
Bro, they're not gonna win. Well, they're just not gonna win for the Call of Duty.
Like the top streamer Ninja, he made. What he made just from his subs alone, not including donations he gets from people. Just from his subs alone, he made $25 million a year playing video games. He plays 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. $25 million. He's on the cover of ESPN playing video games. That's how big it is now. So many schools around the campus, around the country, are doing that now. So.
And I remember when you telling me this yesterday, I was like, man, I just remember the time when my dad was like, yo, why are you playing a video game?
Right.
Like, why are you wasting your time on this console? Now I'm looking at it like, I could have been ninja.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. So now, essentially, we have the League of Legends team, but my goal is to expand it. And one of the ways I'm doing that is just trying to figure out what games people play on campus. I've heard people say they want Halo tournaments, they want Madden tournaments for money, they want FIFA tournaments for money. And that's one, and those are things that we're gonna do. But right now, I'm trying to get people to be vocal. There's still kind of that whole high school mentality a little bit where people like, oh, like I don't want people to know I play video games. That's nerdy shit. And it's not that case.
Put a
anymore.
FIFA in there. The whole soccer team is in there, bro.
And Martin, so going into your YouTube page, I know you and Brandon collab a little bit with the creative aspects, but what is your YouTube page about?
So my YouTube page is called Marty P's Mind.
Okay.
It sounds very narcissistic. I don't know where that came from, but
It's your brand.
So it's called Marty P's Mind. It's very so it's very very comical, very funny videos, I'd say, but it talks on things that people don't want to speak about, like transgenders and how some people feel like transsexual. The culture or whatever, the wave of transgender stuff is like kind of like overwhelming when if you see a man in a dress and a wig and you say ma'am and they're like I'm not a ma'am and it's like okay well sir you know what I'm saying but by the time you try to like correct yourself they flipping tables and throwing pencils and breaking things and it's like so it's like things like that. We was talking about how how a lot of African American kids, they don't know what their parents do or they don't know what their grandparents did or like their history. But like you can have like a white kid come in and do exactly what his mom does. Like there's a video with this girl, she passed out. She was choking on something and you would ask, like this white girl comes in and is like, call Timmy, his mom's a doctor. And Timmy comes in and he's like, oh shit, I need a scalpel. You know what I'm saying? And just like big shit when the black dude is just like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it speaks on, it's very comical, but it speaks on things that a lot of people don't think about or don't want to think nor talk about. Yeah. And it's just like an invitation to like speak on things like that and laugh about it and also like have different opinions on things and then walk away with a smile on your face.
Like bringing the comical aspect into a heated topic or some topic that is not as easily spoken about between people. Comedy can be that relief to help people understand it for one, and two, think on it and then speak. You know what I mean?
Right, and kind of like going on what Martin was saying, like one of the reasons I love his videos is because if you look at interviews on YouTube, like comedians, like people that can make you laugh are some of the smartest people. You look at like Dave Chappelle's interviews, Paul Mooney, Charlie Murphy. Like those dudes make you laugh, but they know some real shit, and they'll tell you. Yeah, they'll tell you.
Comedians are extremely smart.
Especially I watched the thing on Paul Mooney. Like he spits truth. People don't want to hear it. Like even Cat Williams, like he gets into like, and that's why. And that's why I like what Martin does, because he's on that same level. So he's speaking that truth, man. Like people don't want to hear it, but I love watching the videos and I laugh them. Some of them he definitely pushes the button. I'm like, hey man, you wild for doing that. But still, no. At the end of the day, like even when I helped him shoot his video, like at the end, like Martin's mind is so creative to where I was shooting it and he was telling me about shooting. I was like, I kind of have an idea, but then when I watched him find the video, I was like, it makes sense why we did that now. So definitely, I love Martin. Martin's got a gift. Like he can make people laugh. He can bring the message. And
I always used to believe this man was the low key Will Smith.
I know. I got a question now. See, I got a question for you now. So we always chop it up. So I see you as an entrepreneur. We always chop it up, and we always talk about how you doing with your job, but we never talk about what you doing. These these enterprises doing like we don't know what to talk. That's crazy, and that's a problem in our culture. Because
never have a conversation with you. I'm gonna see you so much time.
Same thing with Brandon. I had this man in class. I did not know, but
right, and kind of what Fish saying, like just looking at it now is like So Fritz, he understands how to work these systems. Martin understands how to work film stuff. I know how to work film stuff, and I know you guys have abilities that I don't even know about. Exactly. But instead of us, we work for someone else and we push their brand, but we don't push our own brands. We don't collab on
we don't know. Like, right. And it's crazy how we just feel like we can't talk about our passion.
Exactly, because how come I never?
Exactly. And the thing about it is sometimes it's like we look around and we feel like nobody else is as passionate as something as we are. You know what I'm saying? And it might feel like we're bragging, like, yo, like my videos, da 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 da. And people are like, yeah. You feel like that, but then when you talk about it, people are like, for real?
Yeah.
But you don't. But you would never know unless you actually.
And we don't put those skills together. So just another quick example, kind of on a similar tangent. So my dad, he owns a house, and then one of his friends at work was struggling with bills, and so. For him, he didn't have the money. His medicine's like $8,000 or something a year. He had the money. So what my dad did, my dad ended up writing him a contract showing that he's going to buy the house. He gave it to the bank, and he got the money for the loan, because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to get it. And I was like, Dad, like, isn't that illegal? He's like, Brandon, white people do this all the time. Yeah. Like, that stuff we just don't know.
Crazy.
Right. So essentially they do it to where, like, okay, we'll show that you have a good credit score. We're gonna make it seem like you're about to buy this house. So, and then what happens is the bank gives him the money, and he uses that money for the medicine. It shows that he has like a track record, so to speak. Okay. And these are things kind of like Mark was saying, like, white people tell their kids how to do this stuff. Black people don't really tell their kids how to do this kind of stuff. And part of it is they just don't know. But the ones that do know, they don't like. I was like, Dad, you never even told me about this. Like,
hidden knowledge,
right?
Because I think it's also
you always brought up hidden knowledge. That's what you always say.
It's always because we think about competition in the black community, right? So if I have a skill and then I teach it to somebody else and they have the same skill as me, that means I'm devalued now. Yeah. That's how we think about it. And it
comes back to that self-esteem and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The confidence part.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, if we're focusing on the same skill and we're involved with each other's plans, then that means we're both growing at the same time. Like, it's enough of individuality. We need to come together to work on common goals now.
And that's why I commemorate you with all of this, bro. Like,
and it's the same thing. Like, a perfect example. Like, let's look at internet companies. Internet companies, they all offer the same service. They teach us the same thing. So instead of them competing against another, what do? Like, if you look at it now, they do territory. Like, all right, AT&T, you get this territory. Verizon, you get this territory. Sprint, you get this territory. We all making money. Why can't we do that as a culture? Like, all right, instead of us competing, we just run the market. We run the market, run the prices. Why can't we do that? Why do we feel like we have to compete to get all the money? There's no room on the table for everybody to eat.
You know why it's like that too? Because I feel like, okay, like, for example, like, I be deep and sometimes I get given. I try to give it to certain people. And certain people, like, AB is the only person that no matter how far day, it might not do it. I try to give it to another guy. I'm not calling on him. He says, okay, man, it's too far. Man, it's always excuses and stuff like that. So probably that's just to make money. I be trying to get like go and play other places and get all the excuses. I feel like most black entrepreneurs think the same as like, yeah, man, you don't give me like we kind of lazy in a way sometimes. And if you feel like you got the power to help somebody and blah blah, you're gonna feel like, I'm not gonna bring it up because like you're probably not gonna like the idea. Or you're probably not gonna rock it because it's too hard. It's out of your comfort zone. Yeah, so probably that's one of the reasons too.
It's time for us to express, man. I thank you, Martin and Brandon, for coming on. Fritz and Dave, y'all know it's always been real. And to that man Troy, he's on a date, so I'm trying to get that girl beer to see you. No, I gotta text him. Yes, go ahead.
Been on a date, bro.
Get him. You're Come on.
Don't tell me
Go ahead, get him. Go ahead, get him.
You can't be doing it.
Hey, but thank y'all for tuning in to episode 4 of Organic Thoughts with your host, Monty Provost. We'll see y'all again next time.
Yes, sir.
So, Miss Edgerton told me